Hi, my name is Mandy Leins of Mandy Leins Quilts. Today I'm going to show you how I quilt a hunter star from start to finish with one start and one stop. Now I like to work from right to left, but you could certainly work from left to right. You just have to figure out the path. I'm going to be using the star points and the lozenges here to travel back and forth, and I'm going to treat this square or all of these squares as one central motif. There's a lot of continuous curve here, so feel free to use a template if you wish to make those perfect. A lot of times if I'm freehanding this, it goes a lot quicker if I just put a little chalk mark where roughly the center is and aim for that. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I have two real shapes here. I have what I'm going to call a pointy feather, and then I have a regular feather. So one is your regular, bump feather, and then another one is this point. It comes to a point. And you'll see that this point here is going to be really important as we go along. Now I'm going to go ahead and get started from here at the right. I'm going to start at this point where I'm going to do that S curve like that, like this feather here, and I'm going to come and do a little swirl. I'm going to come around and I'm going to do 3 feathers. And now after I've got my 3 feathers done, I'm going to come and do that kind of S curve that comes to a point at this spot. Okay, now I'm going to do my continuous curve here. And since this is such a bulky seam, I'm going to avoid it and only come about halfway up. Then I'm going to bump down and do my continuous curve. Do my continuous curve across. And I do mean across. I'm going from this one to this one to this one, and when I come down to this row I'll do this one and this one, but I won't go up and down like that because that can be a little tricky and you can lose your spot easily. So here I'm doing that S curve with a little spiral. Notice that when I get started I want this curve on the side that my feathers are going to be on. That gives them something to anchor to. And see, there's that point again. This point is this point is this point. I'm going to come down. Now I could put in things here, but if it's the edge of my quilt, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that for the time being. Curve, swirl, feather, 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 point. Okay, now this is where the traveling part comes. Oops, ignore that. I want this way. And I'm going to come around, and you can see that I hit all points and come back to the beginning. Now I'm going to do the whole thing. Spiral. And this one, you can see I started on the wrong side. So I'm gonna fake it till I make it. Feather, feather, feather. Pointy. Feather, feather, feather. Pointy. Feather, feather, feather. Pointy. Feather, feather, feather. And because I made a mistake, I'm going to, trace that one back out. Then I'm going to come down here. Always do, when you're there, take the chance to put those in because you will forget, and then you will have to probably go back in and put them back. Now, instead of finishing this off, which gets me back to here, I need to come over and finish out this row. So I'm going to just do half right there. I'm just going to do that half, and then I'm going to come back up here and just do half to get me to this star. And I always kind of like to work the same direction. If I'm going clockwise, I keep going clockwise. Kind of helps me keep track of where I am. Now at this point I can fill that in. So instead of going under, which was the wrong way, I'm going to go over. Now I have something for my feather to anchor to. And sometimes you can only fit in 2. That's really okay. When you have a huge quilt, you're not going to notice that there's one that has 2 instead of 3. So up, around, and then finish off. See, that's a very pretty spiral that we're making. Again, I'm going to use half of this to travel. Notice that I left these 2 empty, and that is the key for getting back and forth. So I'm coming down here, and I'm going to come in up here and fill this in. Now, what I would do right here is that it to me is going to be okay to go around the edge of my quilt, and I'll come down here and I'll finish this off like that. Okay. Now then the tricky part is, what do you do with this one? Sometimes at the end I will leave these ones on the edge and I will work my way up from the bottom, going one after the other, and that's definitely an option. Because it's only a partial, so you're gonna, if you started here, you'd end here and vice versa. So I'm gonna leave that one till the end. I'll come back and do this row up the side. Now remember, here you're coming from the other direction. So when you started here, you wanted that bell right there to give your feather something to work to. And like I said, I always work from clockwise, so I know which side I need to do it on. So here I'm back at this point, and now you can see here's how I'm finishing up and hitting all these points. Okay. Then I can go up here, and instead of coming through the side, I'm going to go up through the top, and then I'm going to start here. And now that sets me up to start the next row beneath. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thanks. My name is Mandy Leins of Mandy Leins Quilts.